So Trump had an executive order, I think, earlier today, where he reinstated about 8,000 military personnel who refused to take the jab, and not only reinstated, but they got their old rank back, and they got back pay, which would be what, 4 or 5 years worth of back pay that they have to pay them if they got terminated in early 2020. I don't know if anybody in our chat is a military member that was, discharged over that. That's got to be a nice check. That's got 5 years pay for, all at once. Now, I don't know how they'll do that, but that seems like a huge W. I would say now do the police, now do, well, I guess they're not federal, but we lost a lot of good cops who didn't want to get the job. We lost a lot of good pilots. I want to get your takes on this. I wonder if it opens up some civil lawsuits to where you can now point to say, hey, the federal government said it wasn't okay. And now the nurses, the teachers, maybe I'm reaching here. What do you think, Styx?
I think that you could start a civil lawsuit. It'd probably end in a settlement. Because I'm not sure that would necessarily work, but they probably don't want any problems. I think that merely the fact that these people are getting their back pay and they can rejoin the military. Maybe they don't want to, but they've got their rank. They've potentially, in some cases, got a pension coming to them.
Yeah, it might matter for retirement.
Yeah. So some of these people were already in command positions, so they potentially have some sort of pension coming to them as well. But that must be nice, because even if you're only like a PFC or something, 4 years of back pay, that's enough to buy a nice car.
Some land and some burned out land in California.
Yeah.
Also, I wonder if you'll continue to get credit for them for that service, because you have to do so many years before you can retire with a full pension. I don't know if it's 10 or 20 or something like that. I wonder now, will these 5 years, I would think, if they're saying you're getting back pay, then that means that you worked. So I wonder if they'll also get that, 5 year service that they were robbed of.
I assume if you left the military under these circumstances, whether it was, discharge, not honorable discharge, whatever it is, but then you get the back pay, you would only return if you're allowed to continue to rise in the ranks. You don't want to go back to where you were 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I would assume. I remember when my brother was in the Marines, he enlisted out of high school, and there was a certain point where he was like, I'm getting past, there are guys who are younger than me who went to college who are getting promoted over me. There's a certain point where there's sort of a disincentive to be there. Although, again, this is something I think Pete Hegseth has talked about. We're already seeing a spike in military reenlistment under Trump. Who knows how sustainable it'll be, but there are a lot of people who feel differently about the military right now than they did under 4 years of Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what do you think, Styx? The New York nurses did win their lawsuit, and they got back pay. So how are you feeling right now if you're in the service and you reluctantly took the jab and you're sitting over in Afghanistan, some other
that must really suck.
Yeah.
Although some people did that out of a sense of pragmatism, because they're like, I love being in the army because I'm a masochist. So, I'll just take the jab and I'll stay enlisted. But then other people, they sort of voted their conscience.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that a lot of the dudes that didn't take it didn't expect them to actually kick them out of the Navy, the Marines, or wherever they were from.
Right. They thought it would take at least 18 months, just like emergency services.
They thought they'd get a slap on the wrist or a grace period.
Ram Chargers says, I was discharged after 15 plus years. We have no information on how to get back in, but if it is correct that we get back pay, for me, it would be more than nearly $250,000. Good for you, bud. Yeah. I think you deserve every penny too.
Well, and if you get $250,000, would you re-enlist, especially if you've established yourself in some other career?
I probably
It's
wouldn't.
not easy to be in the military. I mean,
Not if you've been out of it too for 5 years. You're kind of out of practice. You're
right. And if you have a
getting
family, you don't want to relocate again. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a lifestyle to be in the military. I wonder if, I mean, maybe either one of you can weigh in on this. Do you think we'll see lawsuits from people who will say, I was pressured into taking this vaccine, even though ultimately it was ruled that it wasn't fair? Do they have any recourse?
I don't think they have any recourse because basically when you sign up, they give you whatever. Like, look at where Gulf War syndrome came from and like all those shots they gave those guys, those experimental shots. Some of those guys won lawsuits, I think. I could be wrong.
The thing is, there will definitely be lawsuits, but whether they're successful or not is what remains to be seen. Some of them, if they have some legs, they just get settled. The rest will get tossed out mostly.
Yeah, I think you're basically the military's property. And once you deploy, you take whatever they want. Whatever they tell you to take, you put it in your arm. Yep. Yeah, I don't think you can sue the military. Yeah, I also think he should compensate J6ers too. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe just some, because usually when you have a wrongful imprisonment, those are like multi-million-dollar lawsuits. Unlike that one idiot who was in prison wrongfully for like, I think murder, got a payout, got released and immediately murdered somebody, went back to prison. Although I don't know if a pardon.
I don't think a pardon counts as a wrongful conviction.
Yeah, I don't think
that's the problem.
In fact, I think accepting a pardon is an admission of guilt.
Yes, I was wrong about that. I people corrected me on it. Is that's why some people on the J6 trials did not take the pardon. Not everyone took it. You say they were like, no, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not taking a pardon. Which I actually, I bigly agree with that. I think that's a pretty good position to have, even if I don't agree, with what you did on the stupid crooked J6 committee. I do respect the fact that some of those people are like, I'm not taking a pardon.
So did Liz Cheney take Joe Biden's pardon?
Yeah, she did. Of course.
So she's admitting that she has done something wrong.
Yeah, I'm checking.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah. I don't know if she took it or not. Maybe check and answer this
Anthony
before.
Fauci? I mean, I don't even know if that information is being very well tracked, is being tracked publicly.
I haven't seen it reported. You would think if Fauci took it,
then you're admitting guilt, right?
Yeah, we would know.
Unless it doesn't count for them, because then it doesn't count for the J6ers, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Maybe chat knows. I think that, the Trump is absolutely crushing it right now. I think it's like for the first time in my life, a president who made, hundreds of campaign promises. It's like Trump literally kept a list, got into office and was like that never happens. It didn't happen in Trump's first presidency.
And I think it means that transition time was well spent. They were working, they were preparing.
Yeah. I mean, Trump's biggest thing he ran on was locking up Hillary Clinton, and he immediately cucked out on that.
Mm-hmm.
And he tried to play it off like, oh, be a horrible precedent, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, nah, someone got in your ear. Someone got in Trump's ear that first term, and he softened.
Here, will you give me a minute really quickly? Yeah, there's a lot of noise in the background, and I need to tell people they need to be quieter.
Yeah.
Bye, Styx. It was Hillary Clinton locking her up, and then also the border wall, which a while, I don't know if you remember this, but Ann Coulter used to tweet this many days in office. Yeah, exactly. How many miles of border wall built, and I think she did kind of annoy Trump with that. Yeah. So there were times that he was not, and he didn't have the knowledge that he has now. He didn't have the discernment, staffing choices this time around are probably very different than some of the staffing choices he made before. Yeah. But I think it is a promises kept moment to the American people that if he were given another 4 years in office, he would not waste one day. And that's absolutely what's going on. Again, 5 full business days so far.
Yeah, not even.
It's been really insane.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. Yes, 5 full. Yeah,
because it's half of Monday, and we're halfway through Monday now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's been bonkers. Him cutting trans people in the military, good, fine. But reinstating or backpaying these 8,000 troops, I think is great. Mm-hmm. Promises made, promises kept. And since he's flooded the zone so much with so many of these EOs, the left, I mean, you're not going to be able, I mean, Stephen A. Smith went on Bill Maher and was like, look what Trump's doing it. He went in office, he's doing it. And now if the Democrats come out and they try to fight it, everyone's going to be like, well, what, now you suddenly care?
Yeah.
I thought it was about they, them during the election.
Right.
Now suddenly you give a damn. Like, the Democrats really are damaged. I think far worse than a lot of people think or know. They have a huge rot problem. They have, I mean, if you go Trump into Vance, if Trump just keeps sending Vance out there to crush reporters, like he's gonna
I don't really care, Margaret.
I don't care, Margaret. Yeah, like that.
No, I
mean,
I think you're right. And I think one of the lies the mainstream media has propagated for so long is that the Republican Party is always on the verge of falling apart.
Yeah.
And the parties function differently. They expect different things from the people who participate. So you can have a Republican coalition where you have, more libertarian leaning people, you have more, anarchist leaning people, you have more traditional conservative, evangelical conservatives who don't agree 100% on every single issue, but generally overall have themes that they will fall back on and that they will support each other on. Yeah. Democrats function with intense 100% compliance, or we will excommunicate you. And I think, and I've thought this for a really long time, that you actually see more fractures in the Democratic Party because it's much harder to govern that way. If you want everyone to get on with the progressive agenda, then you lose moderate Democrats. If you want everyone to get on board with, open borders, then you'll lose Democrats who have to answer to border states where there are border crimes. If you want everyone to get on board with, gender ideology, there's just all these things. And that's why you think one of my favorite things to point out to people is that there is actually a pro-life Democrats movement. Like there are Democrats, pro-life Democrats as a coalition. But when you say people are like, no, there's not. No, they're not. Democrats don't believe in that. And it's like the overarching party doesn't, but the individual people do. And they will start to break away when you push them too hard. That's why you see different senators and congressmen who are from border states or just more moderate Democrats that are from states that supported Trump, who are starting to say, like, yes, we do need to get illegal immigration under control because the things that Trump is saying is not unreasonable. And it is much easier to break apart the Democratic Party because they're already fractured.